Oh, we are live. What's up, Mr. Slow AF 12 Valve? How are we doing? See if I could share this deal while we're waiting on some people to jump in here. I'm doing good, sir. All right, what's up, everybody? Looks like we got a couple people in here now. Thomas Z, what's going on? Trent Mast, how we doing? What are we all working on this time of year? Thomas, I think the last time we talked about turbo stuff. Did you make any decisions there? Was UCC pretty good? Man, we're going to jump right into the UCC deal this quickly. UCC is always good. This year was a little challenging. There was quite a bit on the schedule for both the UCC and the ODSS side of things, which is great because you accommodate a lot of different demographic of the fans. But it's a struggle when you have a packed schedule anytime that there's anything that interrupts that, like an oil down or a change of order of operations. And unfortunately, the Firepunk crew and the UCC crew was hit with a lot of that. There was lots and lots of oil downs, lots of carnage, and so it really pushed the schedule way off. Kind of like I said in my last video, we were supposed to get 4 qualifiers Friday night, or Friday, I should say, and we only ended up getting 2. And then we were supposed to get 2 more on Saturday, and then we only ended up getting 1. And then it really kind of sucked for anybody that was still in the semifinals, because the semifinals ended up having to get pushed to Sunday because they had I believe it was 2-6 and 3-0 sled pulling that was going on Saturday night. And it was a good idea. They put the pulling track right by the stands, so that way everybody could stay in the grandstands area. But the problem with that is they had to shut the drag racing down in order to get the sled pulling done, because you can't be making dust and trying to drag race at the same time. So unfortunately, they couldn't get the semifinals and finals done Saturday night because they had to stop for the sled pulling. And then it sounded like the sled pulling track had some issues. Like, it ended up being really soft. I don't know anything about sled pulling, but just from the people sorry, that's my dog's barking in the background. The people that know about sled pulling more than I do, apparently the track was way too soft, and so they had to do a lot of work to the track. So they got like an hour late start themselves. Hey, and so that pushed them back, and apparently all the sled pullers didn't get finished. So it was, quite a fiasco, just because of when you pack that much stuff together. It's hard to get everything done anytime you run into any little things. But it was good overall. It's always great to go and hang out with pretty much everybody in the industries there. I got to talk to a lot of you guys, so that's always great. Jesse Harris, clutch cut loose is what I am messing with. Yes, man, you have to keep me in the loop when you figure out what the heck's going on with that thing. Thomas, no, not yet. I'm still putting the engine together, but it's coming together slowly but surely. Good. These builds always take longer than you think they do and what you hope they do, but it's always part of it. And just take your time and try to do it all right the first time around, and even if you have to sit out a little bit longer than what you want to, usually you end up further along down the road in the long run if you do it that way. Needs a common rail. What needs a common rail? The world? That's probably going to be your response to that. Looks like we're up to teens of viewers now. 12 valve problems. Is that Duncan Finley? 12 valve problems? Busy in the shop. Yes, I have been very steady in the shop. And anytime that I am not building transmissions, I am been working on Mr. Jordan Newman's truck, which Mr. Duncan there would be happy with because that is Common Rail Swap the world. And we are getting very close. We are very likely making smoke with that thing tomorrow. It's pretty much ready to run. It's not done. It's not ready to do much more than idle and move around, but it will. It should be running tomorrow. So have been working on that anytime that I can, and looking forward to that. I know Newman's looking forward to that for sure. The age-old question: what's up with JP's truck? Just waiting on a motor. Been waiting on a motor for that for a hot minute. No updates. Just as soon as we get a motor, we will be able to get back on it. And so I'm hopeful that by this winter, once racing is all done, I'll be able to have a motor and be able to put that thing back together. There's quite a few changes happening to it, so it's definitely going to be a whole winter process to get that truck back on the track. Jesse Harris, I am taking it to James tomorrow. I think a dyno has saved me a lot of heartache. I've had it apart 11 times since UCC and 15. Oh my God, you had it apart that many times since we talked? Sheesh, man. I hope you guys find something. If you don't find anything, just start all over. Just get a different core and start from scratch. Jesse here is experiencing something very, very weird. I will let him tell you if he wants to air it out there. What was JP's old motor setup? So JP Anthony Dewey, that's a great question. So that is in Jordan Newman's truck now, the first gen, and it was a Kingspeed 6.4. So it started off as a 6.7 motor, sleeved down to a 5.9 for the extra strength. You lose a little bit of displacement there, but it's worth it for when you give. It's worth what you give up for the strength, in my opinion. It was a small bowl. It was actually like a VP bowl, which is good because the smaller bowl pistons, they take the heat a lot better than the wide bowl because the heat isn't so close to the outer diameter of the cylinder wall. So they seem to hold up a lot better. And then, from there, it was all like Kingspeed specs cam, and it's a roller cam deal, ported head, your basic stuff there. And then it was DDP injectors. I believe it has fleece pumps on it, and a GT55, 88 millimeter. So it, according to the 497 pass that I made in it last, it was about 1,700, just over 1,700 horsepower. On that pass, it's 2,000 horsepower capable, really, but at 2,000 horsepower, you're kind of starting to lean on it. So about 1,800 horsepower is where we safe rate it. How is a staging limiter done with a P-pump? Alan, I actually made an entire video specific to that. It was probably right about a year ago now. So if you go back to I'm going to say like May of 2022. It'll say something like P-pump staging limiter, and then that video explains exactly how it's done. But the really super short version is it's essentially a throttle stop, like a gas like super comp car would run, or like a comp eliminator. And so basically, like it's an air cylinder that you would put air to, or in my case, nitrous pressure to, and then have it wired up to, like, say, your trans brake button. So when you hit your trans brake button, it allows your pedal to have a bunch of slop in it, basically. So your pedal only moves, maybe that far, and only moves your pump linkage about that far. And then when you come off the trans brake, that air cylinder closes and it goes to wide open throttle. Anything new with your dad's car? Yes and no. We've tested it a lot. I haven't made a video about it yet, just because I just haven't had time to. His videos don't do really well, unfortunately. Well, it seems like most people are here for the diesel content. But we he really, I've only been out with him a couple times. He's been racing it a lot, and I've been trying to help him remotely, which can be hard. But we had it going really well in the right direction. It was really consistent. It was actually like on track to go some rounds at a race, and one of the tracks we were at had some gravel. The car in front of us left, and some dirt and gravel fell out, and it was ended up being right in the path of where he left. And so it spun the tire pretty good. So when you hear those old guys talk about how their car would go down a gravel road, this one will in fact not do that. And then we kind of changed a couple little things on it, very small things, just some shock adjustments and such like that. It was going in the right direction, but I think we are about out of tire life. We started counting up runs on that thing, and we think we're somewhere north of 70 to 80 runs on it since we put those Pro Racket radials on it. And I think it's time for some new tires. So just kind of, he's really busy right now. He does collision work, and he's slammed with fixing wreck cars. People are wrecking cars every day, and so we haven't messed with it yet. Mickey Thompson actually put a hold on those particular tires that we're running. They're not making them right now, so that kind of sucks. So we're kind of on standby until we figure out if we're going to go make some more runs with it, or if we're going to wait and get some tires for it. Anthony Dewey, nice. I got Seth Higgins old motor, sleeve 6759 crank and rods, 6.7 piston, King speed head, 40% extra G. What turbo setup would you suggest for the king of the street? Want to go compounds? So I tell people all the time, I don't know anything about street trucks. People think I'm lying when I say that, but I am hyper focused on drag racing stuff. So compounds is not my wheelhouse. I would talk to somebody that has experience directly with a good set of compounds like that. I don't know a lot about that king of the street deal. From what it sounds like, I think it's like a more like a diesel power challenge, back in the day type of deal, or call it a UCC or whatever. I like a big single. I like a GT55. They're really robust turbos. They spool really well with a good tune-up, the correct nitrous setup, and a good converter. But for compounds, I really wouldn't be the guy to talk to, unfortunately. Coda Matthews, just ordered your TV adjuster and front shifter cable bracket, getting flaring on my 2-3 shift. Thanks for all my headaches. Well, thank you for ordering one of those, or all of that, really. What is your valve body setup on that, if you want to talk 2-3 flare? Ransom old, do you know what's going on with the Grinch now? Man, I hate posting that truck because every time I post it, it's 100 questions about where it's at, why it's got a common rail in it, or what's in it. I really don't know. I didn't even know who owned it until when I made that post on Facebook yesterday. But apparently it sounds like it's in Canada. It sounds like the guy has wrapped it black, and it sounds like he's put some sort of common rail motor in it. And it also sounds like he hasn't raced it since 2019. So really don't know any more than that. Seaberry0036. Can a trans brake be put on the 47RE 1000 horsepower transmission setup? Absolutely. Yep. Do 47RE, 47RH, 48RE. We've done all of those with the trans brake setup. No problem. PDT, Coda Matthews, Myers built at PDD. Yeah, I don't know anything about what they're doing, but I can tell you that the TV adjuster is not going to help you on a 2-3 flare with their setup. They're using the TV at a fixed position to set your line pressure. So if you don't already have your TV at a fixed position, you could be getting a flare because your line pressure is super low. Let me know where you've got your TV at set currently. Jesse Harris, it's no secret. I experience a forward clutch cut loose during a shift, but only during a shift with lockup. You can race it and leave it unlocked and it's golden, or get it in third, then lock up. So I rode in Jesse's truck up there at UCC because I've never heard of such craziness going on before. And I was kind of thinking that it was a shift flare, but this is absolutely not a shift flare. This is a total loss of forward gears. And it's really wild. Just like you said there, like if he's in unlocked and the line pressure is good, it shifts fine, everything's good. The minute he locks the converter, that thing does wild stuff on the shifts, and the line pressure gets way low and it never recovers. So they have quite a weird thing going on there that we're all kind of scratching our heads as to why. Alan Steyer, I know you have a series on building a 48, but what specs do you go for the direct clutch clearance? I built about 8 transmissions and went by book specs between 96 and holy crap, 160 thousandths. But this one flares 2.3 Firepunk Comp 2 valve body. So, once again, I don't have any experience with what Firepunk is doing on their valve body stuff. But I can tell you, if you have your directs anything more than 96 thousandths, that is absolutely why you have a flare. I don't know if that's what Firepunk wants them set at, so I don't want to speak for that. But I can tell you that on my stuff and like the videos that I did, like 80 to 85 thousandths is where you want that deal at. So I would say that is 100% why you're experiencing a 2.3 flare. Coda Matthews, if your TV cable is not connected, then your line pressure is like maybe 50 or 60 psi. And if you've been beating on it like that, there's a good chance that you have smoked that thing. Line pressure needs to pretty much never get below about 140, especially if you're making 700-800 plus horsepower. So hopefully, I'd drop the pan on that thing and see what the fluid looks like and everything. But if your TV cable is just loose and they haven't like fixed it at a fixed position, then I'd say that thing's probably burned up. Alan Steyer, I try to keep them below 120,000. Yeah, 120 is just way, way, way loose. Drop that down to like if you just drop that to 85,000, your 2.3 flare should go away for sure. What else we got going on? We still have teens of viewers. We've maintained solid teens this whole time. Do you have any other toys besides the Fossil? No. The racing takes everything from me, physically, mentally, emotionally, financially. I just don't really care to do a whole lot other than drag racing. If we're not drag racing, I do enjoy traveling. That's something that my wife and I enjoy together. So I like to do that. Usually drag racing gets in the way of that too. So no other toys except for racing. I do actually have a 72 Duster that my dad and I restored while I was in high school. We never 100% completed the car. It's about 90% of the way done, and we need to get that thing done. I mean, it pretty much needs like a little bit of wiring stuff finished up and an interior, and we could go cruise it. And then, I mean, it's like a full like rotisserie rotisserie. I'm thinking about chicken. Rotisserie restoration type deal. Because before I was a drag race, I was a show car, and show car stuff kind of burnt me out once I realized you build something really nice and it's too, like you're afraid to drive it. You just want to take it to shows, and shows are terrible because they're all judged. And anytime there's a judge sport, it's you're up to the discrepancy of who's judging it and stuff. So I kind of burnt myself out by going too far with that car. But that's my closest thing that I have to another toy. And we need to get that done and put it on the channel here because I think a lot of people would like that old muscle car stuff. Dakota Matthews, just put the transmission in, just getting started. Definitely get that TV in a fixed position before you go any further. Just so that way, if you haven't burned it up, hopefully you haven't, then you can save it. Jesse Harris, you want me to send you my speed control Mac valve to try? Jesse, I want to try that really bad, but I have like 18 other things in contingency on this truck that I need to get working right first. And once I get this thing to do the same thing 3 times in a row, we will definitely be talking about that Mac valve to slow down the throttle travel. Are you going to go to Truck Wars this fall? I went last fall for the first time. It's awesome. I've heard that that's a really cool event. I like that singles elite class that they do. It's pretty cool. The only thing that sucks is that it's fuel only, and my setup is not spooling fuel only in a timely manner. So I'm out on that deal. And it's pretty dang far. It's like, I want to say it's like 12 hours for me. So no, I don't have any intentions on going to that. The only thing that's like super far for me right now that's like even remotely on my sights is the NHRDA World Finals deal out there in Texas. And that's really just because that's like a nostalgia thing for me. I remember when I was really getting serious into diesel drag racing before ODSS was even a thing, when it was just a couple of these outlaw events. NHRDA was the only sanctioned organization. And I remember they had the Diesel TV, and, they had like good coverage for the time period of the events. And I remember just watching videos of the world finals and just like really wanting to go to that. And so, never got the opportunity to, of course, because NHRDA was, basically out of business there for a while. And seems like they're trying to make a comeback now. So I'd like to go to the World Finals deal. But again, that's like a 14-hour drive out there to, I think it's at the Texas Motorplex. And I really want to see the Texas Motorplex because that's, I believe that's Billy Meyer's track. And that's supposed to be like a really nice surface. Like, I think that was actually one of the very first ever super tracks, they called it, I think. And it might be, could be wrong on this, but I think it was the first track to ever be full concrete all the way to the 1320. So definitely want to check out the Texas Motorplex. Would like to go to that, but got to get my stuff together before I can go justify driving 14 hours one way. Luckily, that deal is in September, so I've got some time. All right, what else, guys? Is that about it? Is everybody the problem with the Thursdays, it seems like, is on Mondays, not so much Mondays, it seems like nobody's on YouTube. Tuesdays, like every big channel in the world is posting a video. And on Thursdays, every big channel in the world is posting a video. So it seems like it's hard to find the perfect time where we can get as many people on. Every time I do one of these, it's like a bunch of people don't get to join because they had other stuff going on, and so I'm trying to find my time slot here to where I can make this a consistent. Hey, we're going to do this every month on this day, but it's taking a little bit to get in the groove of things. So let me know what day you guys like the most. Do you need fat shafts for a trans brake, or as long as you're not exceeding the power limit of the shaft, are normal billet okay? Yeah, as long as you're within reason of what you're doing, those shafts are fine. If you have like a really heavy vehicle, like say like a mega cab or something, something that's like 7,000 pounds, and you have like a standard size input shaft, probably don't recommend trans brake. And honestly, if you have a truck that heavy, I don't really know why you'd want a trans brake either. Don't get me wrong, like there's some 6,500 pound trucks out there running trans brakes and running them successfully, but really the output shaft would be the thing that I would worry about the most. Excuse me. I would do like a 29 spline output shaft if you have a heavy vehicle. How is the best way to pick up map sensor and TPS for the Max 4 controller? No idea. That is not anything that I've ever messed with. I'm not sure. I understand why you want TPS for the Max 4 controller. I'm not sure why you want the map sensor. But like on JP's truck, we had a NOS launcher, which is a nitrous controller similar to like the Max 4, Max 5 stuff. Just a little bit less capable, but a good deal. And we just basically used. Man, I'm going back quite a bit on this, but I think all we used on that was engine RPM, but we mainly had it communicating through the smart wire is how we were talking to that thing. Do I tune common rails? No, no, I am not certified in that department. Nowadays, it seems like it's getting hard to find anybody to tune street truck common rail stuff. The 06 and down is still, there's still guys that will do it. But a lot of these guys are wanting to tune, race only type stuff because of all the 3-letter agency drama that's been going on out there. I'd like to try to put a trans brake in my truck this winter since I'll have 3 seasons of dirt drags after the summer and we'll rebuild it. Cope Trans has some tips on it. Only reason I want. Yeah, right on. You can, definitely put a trans brake in that thing and see how you like it. I tell people that like for dirt or not dirt, but for like pavement racing, which is all I know, the trans brake will show you how far off you are on your chassis setup. But once you figure out how to make your chassis work, you will always go faster and more consistently faster with a trans brake. All right, guys, we're coming up on the 30-minute mark here, so I think I might cap this one out here soon. If anybody has any last-minute questions they want to get in here. Trans brake is because the place I race doesn't have a tree, just a green light. So if I can get full throttle a little easier, it should help. That's interesting. I've never done any dirt drag stuff. It's always confusing to me. The stuff around here has a tree, but it's like they don't use it like a regular drag race deal. So dirt drag stuff is not my forte. Jesse, I can hide under out there. What you mean, boy? Maybe I should go back and read your. Me no understand. So it sounds like you're doing like an instant green type deal, but Alan, are there like like pre-stage and stage, or like how do you know when you're in the right place to go? Seaberry, when are you going to be testing the fossil again? Great question. So I have a couple things that I need to do to it. Just some small stuff. I plan on making a video about it as I do that stuff. I got some parts coming in for it this weekend. Got to send some stuff out, and basically, so I'm planning on going to Bowling Green for the beach bin race, and they have a test session the Thursday before the event, like a private test session deal. So I'm probably going to just wait and get in on that, so that way I can make sure that the truck is 100% tip top, ready to go. I want to go over some chassis stuff, scale it again, just make a couple little tweaks and things to it to make sure that it's 100% as ready as I can think that it's ready. And then we'll test on Thursday, and then hopefully that goes okay, and then we'll race on Friday and Saturday. You tried to make me say underwear. Come on, Jesse. Nope, a guy lines you up on a line. Right on. So it's like street racing in the dirt. You said you're from North Carolina? North Carolina? Is that how you say it down there? North Carolina? All right. We're over the 30-minute mark here. I think we've lost all retention of anything at this point. So I'd probably cap this one off. Let me know. Oh, you're in PA? Okay, so you don't say North Carolina. I don't know what they say in PA. They probably don't have an accent. I never thought that I had an accent until I started to like leave Kentucky and go to places like California and the South and the West, and people started telling me I had an accent, and I denied it for a long time, and I've recently had to embrace that I do in fact have an accent. All right, so we're calling it a night there. Thanks for joining, guys. Drop a comment or something and let me know what is the best time to do these live feeds, if you guys are still liking these live feeds or if you are tired of me doing them. And like always, guys, we'll catch you on the next one.